Hello everyone, this is Kiro. Today we are going to learn about batch files. Uh, how to create a batch file. We're going to learn from the very beginning, from the scratch. So to start off, we're going to start with the command line, CMD. Uh, and the way to get that, you go to your start button and you type in CMD, you're going to get that. If you run it as an admin, right click run as an admin. It will run as a C Windows System 32. So we want to create a batch file. So what is a batch file? Batch file basically will execute a bunch of commands you'll put together, and then you just double click it and it will execute all these commands for you. So you don't have to actually type the commands on the command line, the CMD. So we're gonna start with a basic task that I am going to show you right now, and we can then do that using batch files, and it will automate the whole thing for us. So first I'm going to show you how to create a folder. Okay, so to create a folder we use the command md. So md stands for make directory, and then where we want to create it. So we want to create in the C drive. That's what it looks like. And then I'm going to call the folder sector test. Okay, so I'm calling the folder sector test, and then you click enter, right? So now we have created a folder here on my C drive called sector test. And okay, so now what if I want to go inside sector test and create multiple folders? Well, there are a couple ways. One, I can do cd dot dot, means cd stands for change directory, dot dot's like backslash. So right now I am in the C drive, folder Windows, folder system 32. So one way of doing it, a very basic one, is to backspace. So right now I'm only on C Windows. Oh, I want to backspace one more time, right? So now I'm on the C drive. I do know that I do have a folder called sector test, but what if I don't know? So I'll have to put the command dir, means directory, show me directory. You click enter, and it'll show all the folders. One of them is sector test. Okay. Well, if I want to enter this folder to create more folders using the md command. So what you do is you cd change directory to sector test. Okay. So now I'm inside sector test. Oh, now I want to create more folders, like I want to do md1, so folder called 1, md2, and md3. Okay. So now I do have 3 folders inside sector test called 1, 2, 3. Well, let's test. Oh, there you go. So that is one way of creating folders and all that inside. Well, you want to do know that, but you don't want to like see it from the GUI, okay, the graphical user interface. You want to use it from you want to see the folders within sector test from inside that command line. So you just use dir command, and it will show you, oh, we have folder called 1, 2, 3. Okay, and they were created at 9:43 p.m., which is just now. Okay, and the date too. So it gives a little bit of information about him. Okay, so now I want to exit out of that. I want to, backspace up, so back up, right? So now I'm on the root C. Now I do want to delete the sector test folder, so I'm just going to make it easy on you. I will change the icon so it's easy to spot when I do delete it. So it has this little icon here. Going back to my CMD window. Uh, so the command we use to remove a directory is actually remove directory. It's rmdir, remove directory. Then the name of the directory, sector test. But make sure you are on the right place. We are on the C drive, and then the folder sector test. Okay. If you aren't, it will tell you, oh, I cannot find the folder sector test. Okay. So it's saying access denied. That's because it's on the C drive, and I probably will have to run as an admin. Yeah, so I think I am actually running as an admin. No, the reason why we got an access denied error is, I'll show you right now. So you click enter, it says access denied. So the reason why is because there are folders within this folder. So when I get rid of this error, you do rmdir and the switch S. S stands for subdirectories. Okay, so I want you to remove directory, and so remove directory and subdirectories. Also in a quiet mode. So do not prompt me asking whether I'm sure or not to remove the directory. Then the name of the directory. Okay. So it has been gone. It disappeared here. Okay. So and then CLS. Okay. CLS. Again, you want to create a folder. You want to create a folder called test, md test. It has been created. So that was one of the ways. Actually, there is another way. So let's say I'm on the folder users and I want to go straight to folder test without going cd up, right? So what you can do cd and just put the whole path, the full path of it, which is like that. Oops, oh, that's a bad word. Okay, so it switched me straight from C users to C test, and then I can create more folders. So now our first task is to create a batch file that will automate the whole thing for us. Okay, so how do we do that? So first I'm going to create I'm going to create a folder, call it test learning. Okay, so inside this learning I'm going to create our batch file. Okay, and batch file is basically a notepad. Okay, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna call it folder creator. Okay, or no, I'll call it create folders. Okay, and then so to make a batch file, you will have to change the extension, okay, to BAT. Well, let's say you don't know how to change, like it's not there. Like all you can see is only create folder is the name of it. You cannot see the extension one. So you go to view tab on the top, and what it says full name, file name extension. If you click on it, it goes away. So you cannot change the extension. You want to bring it back, click on it, it's back. You change the extension to BAT. We're going to get a message saying, are you sure? You say, yes, I am. And you change it to batch file. It's a file now. Batch file. So we need to fill this batch file with a bunch of commands. So when we double click on them, on that file, it will execute it for us. Okay. So the way to do that is right click and say edit. Okay. And within it, we're going to put our commands. So first command is I do want to create a folder within the C drive, inside the folder that we're in right now, test learning. Okay, and then I'm gonna call the first folder test one. Okay. Okay. So that's our batch file. I'm going to copy that and okay. So I will have a folder called 11, folder called 111, and so on and so forth. How many ones I have? Okay, so probably gonna add one more and a couple more, one more. Perfect. So I'm creating all these folders. So one of them called test 1, test 11, test 111, test 1111, and so on and so forth. Okay. Then within the test 1, I want to actually create another folder called do not, and I'll show you what's going on now. Why did I not leave a space? Do not test. Okay. So that's a folder. All right. So again, within the same first folder, why could not I leave a space earlier? Because if you leave a space, it will consider it a whole new command. So to bypass that, you use quotation marks, and then you say not new folder, maybe just a funny name, and it will create a folder called not new folder with spaces in between. So that's a little trick there. And I am going to go to next folder, and I'm going to create a folder within it called sector KDG. Okay. Okay. And then finally, I will want to create probably another folder within the 111, also called I'm gonna call it lol. Okay, lol. Perfect. Okay. So we did have our creation batch file tool. So now we have our tool here, you know. So I saved, and then if I double click, it's gonna do all that. But before doing this, actually, what I want to do, I want to copy that, and I want to paste it, right? And the copied one, I'm gonna call it remove folders. Okay. Okay. So we're just stepping in the CMD batch file stuff. This is not very helpful in real life automating stuff using batch file or login scripts for servers, but it's just to learn. So I'm talking about level basic here. So remove folders. Okay, what's in there? Oh, it has the same stuff. So what am I gonna do here? I'm gonna add R in all of them, right? Because you remember the command is rmdir. So in fact, I'm gonna just make it easier. rmdir and switch S, switch Q, and I'm gonna copy the whole thing here and just paste it. Okay. And so that way I will remove all the main folders, and I am not gonna remove these because those are subfolders, subdirectories within actual folders. So we're not gonna run the rmdir commands on them. So we're just running it on the ones that we created within the test learning folder. Okay. So that was step 1. 2, I will have to create a folder. I'm gonna call it so it's test learning. Just call it great. Okay. I'm gonna call it great. We did it. Okay. And then that's it. Let's test them. So first I'm gonna double click on this guy. It should create a whole bunch of folders for me, right? There you go. It created all this one too. Okay, so let's check out what's inside this one. Okay. Oh, I have a not new folder, and I do have do not test. Okay, so that's cool. Let's try what's inside. Oh, Sector KDG. Perfect. That's all we did there. LOL. Great. Okay. So let's try remove folders, and remember inside that we are creating a new folder called Great We Did It, and it will remove everything else. When it removes everything else, it should remove the directory itself, subdirectories, and in a quiet mode. That's all we told it. Remove all these guys. Okay. So we will have to just double click, and we'll see what happens. Bingo. Everything else is gone. We had a new folder called Great. We did it. So just wrapping up, we just trying to learn how to create a batch file. What is a batch file? And how does it work? And then we will have future episodes about this topic. We're going to get more advanced in batch files, creating batch files, and how to do very cool stuff with them. This is just a beginning of what is a batch file and how can it be used. So till then, everyone, have a great day. Thank you.